Excuse me, take two. 4-color gates. What do we got going on? So this deck, card for card, top aided the SCG Open in Indianapolis this past weekend. It's basically looking to ramp into large Hydroid Krasises or expansion explosions or mass manipulation. This card seems really sweet for getting you out of tough spots. Like the fact that it takes planeswalkers too is huge. So I'm going to go ahead and pop on into the next one here. And let's play some games and see how this goes. Originally, when I looked at the spoiler for the full set, my initial conclusion was that there wasn't enough payoff for the Gates decks, but I think I probably underestimated both Guild Summit and Plaza. Plaza seems good. Pretty easy mulligan there. This hand's not great, but I'm going to keep on the draw. Perfect. Yeah, both of these cards close the game really quickly, which is pretty sweet, right? Like, it's one of the things... Hey, Gromsky, thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. One of the things that makes... What's the word? One of the things that makes some of the control exit format good, like Grixis or Jeskai, is being able to pivot into a closing role really quickly, and this deck's able to do that for sure. Wasn't blue-green climb up next? Yes, for large donations, $50+ donations, I let people cut in decks that they would like to see into the current schedule. So, this stream, if you're not familiar, everything's viewer-driven, so people who pay my bills get to kind of dictate what we do and when we do it. What's going on, Go 3? Yeah, I was really close to hitting a new subscriber goal tier for an emote, so I gifted a bunch of subs yesterday so we can have another emote on the channel. So we have a 37th emote slot that we need to fill in at some point. But I wanted to make sure we locked that in before some of the subs dropped off, because the sub numbers can fluctuate pretty wildly. So since we were close, I wanted to push it up over. Our hand's not doing a whole heck of a lot here, but they're also not doing a whole heck of a lot, so... Hey, Mr. Lifeguard with the $10 tip. I appreciate that. Maybe we'll face something other than control here. My sideboard is different from the one you suggested. The board... Sounds good. I'll get that added today after we're done. And we had our brand new sub there, Blackless. Thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna hire an emote artist to do some things. In addition to having a new emote slot, I think I want to redo some of the older ones that are not fantastic. It would probably be a little bit too good if this was also a gate. You can find deck lists from the events this past weekend on Star City Games website. StarCityGames.com. It's on their front page. Front page hype. Hope you had a good weekend. Put this towards Red Black Demons. Will do, Brian. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. All right, 188, please. Yeah, this is the 4-color Gates deck, the top 32 SCG over the weekend. Read. I'm still one blue source away from this working. This makes color equal to a gate, so these each make blue, and this makes blue, so I need one more here. Can you explain the whole emoticon thing on Twitch? Yeah, different channels get special pictures that people can put into their chat messages when they're subscribed to your channel. So the more concurrent subscribers a Twitch streamer has hit, the more emoticon slots that their channel gets. So basically, the more subs you see a streamer with, the higher their peak concurrent viewer count was at one point. And once you hit a specific threshold to unlock a new emote slot, you can't lose it if you, like, lose subscribers. Best Beard NA with the brand new Prime support. Thank you very much for that. I know there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. Yes, did I say viewer count? I meant concurrent sub count. Yeah, emotes are all dictated based on your current subscriber count. I'm not sure we're going to be able to beat Search for Azcanta here. I feel like we're probably going to get buried pretty quickly. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me to see that get sabotaged. One more quarter. Really happy to see how the stream's grown over the last year. Keep up the hard work. What's going on, Indie Terror? Thanks for the 9 months. Welcome back. All right, this is the 4th blue for mass manipulations. That's something we'll get to do at some point. Ilmarian with the $20 tip. Thank you very much for that. To bump Bat Flash so we could see, so we could try the open list or see your build. I'm interested in trying Mulch the Multitudes and Slaughter the Strong. We've played March before, and the open list had what I think we're going to play something pretty close to the open list next time we play Bant Flash. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. You made a comment the other day where if you view a stream for greater than 10 hours a week, you subscribe to them and you easily fit that description for me. Well, thank you, Best Beard. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me around. Honestly, one of the things that I think is most neat about this control deck is that this is a deck that's kind of cheap to build in terms of the amount of dollars it costs, which is rare for a control deck in Standard in Magic. Usually, the budget decks in Magic tend to be the more aggressive decks, so the fact that there's, like, a budget-ish controlling deck is, like, really neat. This card gains us an absurd amount of health. Trigger. Casual. Casual gain 6, not bad. I assume we're gonna get Eldest Reborns here. Oh, I guess there are Krasis in this build. That's true. Krasis is not cheap. Because resolved. Permanents are a problem. Carnage Chariot and Go Wide decks that know our Settle Tech. I really don't think Slaughter the Strong's that good. I think I'd rather just play a Cleansing Nova. Like, why is that better than just playing Cleansing Nova? Slaughter the Strong kills most of our things anyways. Why not just play an actual sweeper? I'm gonna hold on to the Gruul Guildgate because they have Eldest Reborn making me discard a card here. Which Krasis climb deck was most appealing to me during the open? I don't know. I'm still pretty high on just straight blue-green climb, honestly. I think I'm gonna go ahead and concede at this point. There's no way we're pushing through their counter magic here. Just getting pretty locked out by that aspect. It's gonna Carnage Sharon in here, some more threats, an extra Gate Colossus. We basically just want to board it a bunch of ways to actually kill them. Trim these Gates Ablaze and probably the Lava Coils. That's pretty clean. Looks like there's a good plan for control here. Maybe I could have pushed through with Hydroid Krasis, but we didn't have any of those anywhere close. I don't think I want Cinder Vines against, I guess it does kill Azcanta. I don't know. What's the trim? Am I supposed to cut Mass Manipulation? I don't think so. This is basically like our hero's downfall, right? I feel like I like all the cards that are in my deck at the moment. Like, do I really care about Azcanta? They don't have that many cantrips. Maybe I don't want extra Rams. Maybe this is just for aggro. Alright, we'll try the Cinder Vines. I'm not convinced that this is better than Gatebreaker Ram, though. Why do we need rhythms, Nivik? And what problem is that solving that we have? Are we that afraid of counterspells? Is that better than just playing Banefire? That would be my big question. Is like why is rhythm better than just having more Banefires? Yeah, like, this card's already pretty good. Like, the reason why we had a hard time that last game is because our opening hand just didn't do anything. This is my 8-8. And they don't have sweepers in their deck, right? So, like, this is my 8-8. Yeah, I'm like, so, like, this build has a bunch of Krasis in it, too, which, like, makes you pretty good against control. Like, Krasis is one of the better cards you'd be playing against a control deck. That's a pretty absurd draw. Just get to, like, casual draw 4 here. And, like, play this and draw another card. Put Gate Colossus back on top. Like, I really don't understand why we need rhythm. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm seeing it. I'm pretty sure this deck is competitive, for those asking. I think my initial assessment that this archetype didn't have the tools to be competitive was way off base. I think this card is a lot stronger than I initially gave it credit for. So I'm only going to tap 3 of these because I want to play an 8-8 this turn. Like this is really powerful, right? Sure. Next turn we kill them with this. Should discard the negate to send a message. Yeah, I'm wrong constantly. Just ask my wife. Cindervines also kills our Gate Guardians after they take them, which is sweet. What's going on, Hippity? I had a gate up in case they had something to gain life with, chat. It's okay. That's the tough part, Hippity, right? Like when you're teaching, you're not just working at school, right? Like you work constantly. My growth spiral, that's mean. Yeah, I'll have an article up on Cool Stuff Inc. on Wednesday talking about my favorite decks from the Open this weekend, as well as covering some sweet data. Listen, I don't want you to report me to the WotC data police, but I've got some charts and graphs, and I drew some conclusions based on the information contained within them. It's gonna be a good time. We can't actually know, Loma. So one of the things you need to understand about Magic data is that we don't have unbiased Magic data. So like we can't know if people played Jeskai at SCG and it did poorly, or if just nobody was playing Jeskai, so it didn't perform because no one was playing it. Without knowing the starting distributions, it's really tough to like draw objective conclusions about like what's good or bad. You got me. Yeah, you can like make some loose conclusions, because like for instance, what I did for the data in my article was that they give us the day 2 distribution, so we can like compare the day 2 distributions to the day 2 distribution to the top 32 distribution and compare like how the day 2 deck performed. But as far as like knowing past that, we really just can't know. We can't know that, Zozich. That requires knowing the starting distribution. That's actually completely untrue, Tough Ghost. You're gonna want to read my article on Wednesday. Sultai actually performed exceedingly average. Sultai was 25% of the day 2 metagame, and it was 25% of the top 32 metagame. And Mono Red performed slightly above expectations, but close enough that it was also likely just average. If we walked around a GP rounds 1, 2, and 3 and wrote down what everyone was playing at each table, then we could use Excel lookups to tie each person to an archetype and then use results to get complete. Yeah, definitely, Hippity. That's a lot of work for sure. Rough. Probably no one yet. Yeah, this deck seems really sweet. I think this deck's got a lot of powerful things. So they're dead, right? Just like attacking for 16. Yeah, that's a bug. That's a bug, Tark. Cry is bugged. That's an arena bug. How are we doing, folks? Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for dropping in here today. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time stream, meme, Magic content producing machine, whatever you want to call me. I'm here streaming Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. If you're someone who enjoys best of 3 standard constructed on Arena, this is definitely the channel for you. We play a ton of that here almost every single day. As always, a big shout out to all my wonderful subscribers. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support. Past my subscribers, the other folks that keep me in business are these wonderful banners to my whatever this direction is, to my left. Harry's Razor would love to help you get that close, clean shave. Using code Jeff Hoagland, you can save $5 in your brand new starter kit with them. Remember, just because you like playing the degenerate decks doesn't mean you need to look like it. Hurly Burly Studio does professional Magic the Gathering altars. Using code Jeff Hoagland at hurlyburlystudio.com, you can save 10% on your orders of border extensions as well as full art replacements that they do there. Cardster.com would love to help you turn your cards into other cards or to the players. There's no haggling, and they take a 1% fee off the top. And of course, InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience. Using code Jeff12, you can save 12% on custom playmats, mousepads, binders, and bags. You can upload your own custom artwork there or choose from the wide range of artwork that they have on their website already. Heading on into our next match with Gates. This deck seems pretty real, chat. What the power level of what this deck is doing has been impressive so far. Alright, so I probably want a Growth Spiral on 2 rather than Lava Coil. A standard open. I feel like I should put that in there. OVC. Let's call it Command OVC. And open is a 15 round 2-day event. A classic is a Swiss based on size event that is smaller and has less prizes. That's a question. I feel like there's a lot of people that have gotten into Magic off of Arena that haven't seen Star City Games events before. So that's a question that's come up a few times. Hey, let that 4-0 bang. I appreciate the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Yikes. I just play the Ram. Probably don't want to miss a land drop here, ideally. Alright. Don't have the choice. Deck feels like it's just doing 15 different powerful things that don't necessarily have up any synergy, but end up powering the game through. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's synergy between the Gates Matters cards, right? Those are kind of like the definition of synergy. Alright, well, limped on through to the next hit. What's the Rams flavor text? So-called battering Rams pale in comparison. That's great. No, definitely not, Loma. You can't, honestly, this is something that a lot of people, I feel like, don't mention enough. I feel like people in Magic readily accept that a good player with a good deck can run poorly and not do well in a tournament, right? Like, Magic has variance, so even if you're a good player and you play a good deck, that doesn't mean you're going to be successful. However, the inverse of this is also true. The inverse of if you're a bad player with a bad deck, you can run good and still do well in a Magic tournament. Do you think sharing data on the web hurts or helps the creativity deck building? I think it greatly helps with. I think it helps people build good decks. I think people who are bad at deck building and don't know how to use information efficiently, it hurts those people because those people can't be helped. And people who are going to brew bad decks because they don't know how to work with data efficiently, those people, their brews are worse than the brews of people that know how to work efficiently with data. So they just sit there and complain about the data rather than learning how to work with it efficiently. I think we're dead, chat. I think we've stumbled a little bit too much here. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both in Decium, and yeah, we're gonna be up on the front page again in 45 minutes.
Balance comes.
This will be our last stint on the front page for the foreseeable future. We need to not die to this somehow. So what? Ideally, I want to draw a breeding pool here so I can go Gatebreaker Ram, but that might not even be enough with them deploying more threats. Is there any proper combo decks in Standard? Yeah, Nexus of Fate's a combo deck. Basic Forest will do too. Basic Forest will do as well. All right, if they don't have a removal spell here, we get to deploy 2 6/6s, which again, like, thinking about what this deck is doing from an objective power level standpoint, 12 power across 2 bodies for 6 mana is, like, pretty impressive, right? All right, they have the removal spell, so we're dead. Stumbled a little bit too much there. We needed to hit our 4th land by turn 4. This is definitely a Star of Extinction matchup. It's a Gatebreaker Ram matchup. It's probably better than Archway, right? The Winding Rod with the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. And Tala Garf with the brand new Prime support. I know there's a lot of people you can give that to every month. Thanks for shipping it my way today. Do I cut Expansion Explosion? I think I'm going to cut Expansion Explosion. I think that's fine. The Winding Road. Listen, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the correction. More than less with the brand new Prime Sport. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. How many lands are in this deck? 27. Wow, that's like extra unlucky that we missed last game. Nam Win, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Hope you're having a good start to your week. Happy Monday. Perfect. Apart from Star of Extinction, are there any other efficient ways to deal with Carnage Art in 4 colors apart from black? Yeah! Block! It's amazing to me how many people that complain about Carnage Tyrant or think they can't interact with it ignore the fact that you can block Carnage Tyrant in combat. You don't have to use spells to take creatures off the table. You can kill them inside of combat. Turn 4, 8, 8. Go. Yeah, Seraph of the Scales, Crackling Drake, another Carnage Tyrant, Consume. There are so many good ways to block these things. All right, so don't mind me. I'm just gonna cast my 6 mana, draw 3 that then draws more cards later. So is this good? What do we think on that one? Oh, geez, we hit the root. Root with Guild Summit is just gross. That's real good.
Let's tear this place apart.
Poor Guild Summit.
Sometimes restoration means retribution.
Rude, Vivian. Rude. So next turn I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can do this for X is 8 and draw 4 cards. Sounds reasonable.
I've seen things that would break someone like you.
Someone asked for an answer to Carnage Tyrant. How about Gates Ablaze? Is Gates Ablaze a good answer to Carnage Tyrant? I mean, if they trade their Vivian for my card that drew 4 cards, that's probably a win for me, chat. If Vivian down ticks and kills this thing that just drew 4 cards, Sign me up. I'd come out ahead on that exchange, I think. Right? Like, God, this deck draws an absurd number of cards. So I've got 6 gates in play. So this kills Carnage Tyrant. Come on, play some more creatures out for me, friendo. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, the things Vivian killed generated absurd card advantage. Deal. Alright, so, like, next turn I'm gonna clear their board and, like, play Gatebreaker Ram and Root. Like... Goodbye, friends. There's people asking questions about the deck list. There's a deck list. There's a deck list on your screen. You'd also type !deck in chat to get a link to the deck list. Don't mind me, just playing my 3-mana 11/11. Ba ba black sheep, have you any wool? Do 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 do. All right, sorry. All the other parents out there know the tunes. This format needs Blood Moon to police this deck. Well, that's the great thing about Guild Summit, right? Like, Guild Summit is a card that, like, it draws cards regardless of when you sequence it. Bah, 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 bah. God bless you, little Gatebreaker. This is obscene. This is kind of obscene, chat. Like, is everybody else watching what's going on? The fact that this card never dies to Gates Ablaze, yeah, is real sweet. This deck feels like Tron, Burgle. I really hope against all hope that, like, the new non-rotating format just starts with the standard format we have now, because like there's so many different things you could be doing in this format, and they're all kind of wild. This is like a fair version of Tron, basically. Not that it's hard to get more fair than Tron. This is the kill this deck dead by turn 4 or 5, or it's going to run you over ramp deck. Yeah, I agree, Burgle. Prince Day, thank you very much for the 2-month sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Of course, Jason. Gotta give you the full whole Glandian. Gotta feel the experience. It's what Tron would look like if it had to work for it. Nice duress. How about this keep? Look at that. That right there is half the reason we kept this hand, chat. The old virtual card advantage. Thanks, Frosted. Yeah, the standard format is wild. Definitely enjoying it myself. Put my Tarmogoyfs into play. I heard someone say Tron. What's going on, Hyder? Thanks for the 6 months. Welcome back. Do you believe this deck would work well in best of one? Probably. It's probably decent against aggro. Spartan Way, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for shipping that this way this month. Great. Game 3. Play a Gatebreaker Ram. Bah! Bah! Oh no! Oh no, my poor little Ram, chat. He had so much to live for. Bah! This is my 5/5. If you kill this one, I'm gonna play an 8/8. Why does it have vigilance? Does anybody understand why it has vigilance? That's the real concerning part. The chupacabra eating a goat is on point flavor, right? Why is that for sure? That's not another chupacabra. We're gonna make this a 6/6 next turn and play an 8/8. All right, little goat, get him, get her. Arr, arr. Vigilance and trample. Yep. Dunk, dunk. And now she can't kill the Gate Colossus, because why would she be able to? I am Pterodactyl. Shout out for all this snow. Indeed. Thank you for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
Come to me.
If the Ram was a rare, it would also have haze. It's funny because it's true. Watching decks like this play out is an exceptionally humbling experience as a Magic player, and it's just like one of those, like, regardless of how much experience that you have, like, there really is no substitute for just playing with the Magic cards. I genuinely thought these Gates Matters cards just weren't going to be good enough when I was looking over them initially, and I think I'm pretty confident I was very, very wrong about that assessment. All right, they drew some cards. She more than 2 Rams in the main deck? No, I think Krasis is pretty important. I think when you need more Rams, you can board them in. I don't know, if you're playing best of 1 for whatever reason, you probably want more. Alright, so I killed Vivian, I killed their Krasis. I think it's worth taking Vivian off the table to kill my Ram. I don't have any more gates anyways. 1 more month until we have our Twitch baby. What's going on, Azumel? Thank you for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Yeah! Suck on this, Doris. Yeah, exactly, Burgle. Like, we're sitting here flooding, and if I draw Krasis or Guild Summon, it just, like, doesn't matter. Just like, okay, yeah, well, good games, you're dead. Like, look at this. Let me cast this spell. And then I'm gonna draw 4. And then the first draw 4 probably draws me another draw 4. Ooh! Ooh! We found a piece of candy!
No one knows the wild.
Thank you for the biddies, Yachidi. I appreciate it. I would like that, Vivian, please. Alright, as long as we don't get duressed here, we're in a good spot. And even if we do get duressed, I have cards that draw more cards. So, like, yeah, I get to take Vivian +1. Ooh. And then Vivian's probably gonna draw me a Krasis, or a Goat, or a Colossus. It's all upside from here, chat. So I'm gonna take the Jade Light, so that way Jade Light can protect the Vivian for me here.
Balance comes.
Oh, Gatebreaker Colossus. Don't mind. Oh, I have another one in here. Maybe I didn't need this. Although I guess next turn I'll play a gate, draw this other one, and like put 2 8/8s into play. Yeah, man, if this Sultai deck is everywhere, this deck's probably yeah, get Trond. That was phenomenal. The 3 for 3 Duresses that did nothing was quite fantastic. Brad last night said that playing the Sultai side felt terrible. Yeah, I'd believe that. There's so many, like, and honestly, I can't stress enough that that's what makes this format good. There are so many powerful things to be doing between Sultai and Mono Red and different control decks and this, but there's play and counterplay to all of these matchups. There's good ways to attack everything in this format. Maybe I wasn't supposed to keep this hand. We might be playing a Krasis for X's 2 on turn 4. Land. Rats. Alright, so we want to draw an untapped land next turn, so that way we can cycle a Krasis. Krasis for 1 does block. You are not wrong. Yikes. Uh-oh. Remember that time we were playing a 27 land deck? We're not very good at drawing our 4th land, apparently. Need a 28th. Shuffler confirmed broken. Alright, I've got a 5/5, but I assume they have a removal spell at this point. Bah, bah. No. My poor goat, chat. He was just doing his best to get by in this cold, hard world. If we'd have hit our land drops here, we'd have curved out into this, and we'd have had a real shot. Yeah, I should probably be mulliganing for some ramp or some Gates Ablaze more aggressively. That's probably what's supposed to happen. I think I'm inclined to think that way. So when's 4-color gates going up on the website? Yeah, I probably should get it added. Well, this is a ramp deck, Biff. So like, basically think of mass manipulation as like another pseudo sweeper. It's a sweeper effect that also deals with planeswalkers. I cut 2 of the Gate Angels and brought in 2 other Rams. Oh, yeah, I guess I should bring in the Star of Extinction too, probably. I did that last time and didn't this time. I think Star's still fine. Like, saying don't play your good spells because they have counter spells is some hot nonsense. Yeah, Maze's End was just a meme though, right? I'm pretty sure this deck is competitive, or something close to it. Like, as long as there are mid-range decks trying to accrue card advantage in Standard, this deck's probably going to exist to dumpster them out of games. Ooh. Yeah, I'd imagine this deck definitely struggles against counterspell-based control decks. I think that's probably a fair assessment. So next turn, we'll cast Guild Summit as a draw 2. What does this deck do against Nexus? Probably just dies. I guess it has... This deck has counter spells in the sideboard, and it has access to... This deck has counter spells in the sideboard, and it has access to, like, Gatebreaker Ram as a pseudo-quick clock, but I'd imagine you basically have to be, like, a bad tempo deck against Nexus. Alright, so I imagine Guild Summit's gonna die here. Yeah, Cindervine's okay too. Oh, I could copy my route. Yeah, that's probably a good suggestion rather than... Well, I don't know. Like, copying route... If I copy my route, then... If I copy this, I don't have a payoff left, right? And I kind of want to draw a bunch of cards with this explosion.
How this come to me?
So here, for people that didn't read my stream rules and like to complain about the stream rules being enforced after they didn't read them, I time people out that make lazy comments in chat. So, like, if I just sit there and say, this is, like, if I'm not boarding a card in, it probably means I think it's bad. So saying, do you think it's bad is kind of redundant, because yes, I think it's bad, that's why I'm not sideboarding it in.
I've seen things that would break someone like you.
Look at their Krasis, chat! It drew one card! It was so adorable! It drew them an entire card! This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, let me show you how this is supposed to work, opponent. This is a Krasis, okay? This is a Krasis. What are we doing here? Discard one more card. Yeah, so they have counter spells in their deck, so I think just knocking the Vivian down to 1 and guaranteeing I resolve my draw X is good, because once I draw a bunch of cards, I'm pretty likely to get to snowball drawing cards from there. Instead of me telling you your idea is bad, when you're asking, well, why aren't you doing this thing? Instead say, Jeff, I think this thing is good and this is why it might be good. Like, help me understand where you're coming from. Because if I'm not boarding a card in, I'm not boarding it in because I think it's bad. And if you think it might not be bad, maybe think about it and, like, talk about why you think it's not bad. And maybe you're right and we can have a discussion about it. Here's my 8/8 Ornithopter, yep. Hold my gate to rebuy my Colossus? Nah, I got plenty more gates coming, chat. There's plenty more gates coming around the mountain. The gate deck's been absurd. It feels like it dumpsters these mid-range decks in a not close way. Yeah, Hydroid's gonna be a format staple. The card is very good. Very, very good. This attack means they have a find finality. But I think I'm okay with that. Am I? I have so much health. I'm just gonna go no blocks here. Please draw a land. Please draw a land. Rats. If they would have hit a land there, this wouldn't have been able to chump block my thing. How much mana do I have? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So, how many Lava Coils am I through? I'm already through both of them. Oh, sorry. X is supposed to be 12. This card is unreasonable. Why is this a thing that was able to... Good lord. Good golly. Alright, go I guess. This is all I got. I don't know, Johnny, you asked me to talk about the Esper deck from the top of the open. I don't know, I haven't played any games with it. Might be great, might be terrible, who knows? Yeah, this can't be blocked by creatures that have 2 power or less. Don't down take the Vivian. How will I ever win the game then? No, nothing is going to get banned, chat. This deck, Nexus, Mono Red, nothing needs to be banned. Guess what? When everything's powerful enough that people think everything needs to be banned, that probably means everything's fine and there's a bunch of sweet, powerful things you can do in the format, and you should just enjoy doing sweet, powerful things. Hey, Fire Emblem, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. Ban Teferi, ban Basic Mountain, ban Spec Light Up the Stage. Like, everybody wants to ban half the cards in the format. They're all great. Stop it. Are they dead on board? Hey. Aw, Rainer, ban all the cards. Thanks for the 2-1-3 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. McCullough, thank you. Thank you for the tip. Hold on. I just need to... Whoopsie. Oh, yeah. Yoink. Oh, that was... That was delicious. That was, let's see some Naya Zoo in the deck queue. Definitely will do. Thank you for the support. That, yoink. Are we sold on the mass manipulations yet, chat? Are we still concerned this might not be something we want to do? Defender X, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate you supporting my content this month with that. Hey, gotta ban this card now. That one's too good. It's too good. Need to ban it. Gosh, do I even want the Star of Extinction? I kind of feel like I like every card in my deck right now. Maybe Expansion Explosion isn't needed. Maybe that's a better swap. That's probably a better swap. If you find yourself frustrated playing against Sultai, let me tell you about a deck. Let me tell you about a deck. Boy, golly, do I have the tools for you. Morning, J Boogie. Yeah, if you have Hydroid Krasis from like playing another deck, like this deck's very cheap to build. Hydroid Krasis is like 95% of the cost in this deck. Magic the Yoinkening. Do I just Gates Ablaze and kill these things? Is that unreasonable? I feel like that's not unreasonable. So I'm definitely playing this. Do I Gatebreaker Ram or do I just kill both their things? I think I want to kill their things. Just like keep pressure off the table. Because like if we survive to get to the late game with this deck, we like can't lose basically. Yeah, Reaper's just gonna draw them more cards, and like, I only have 2 pieces of Lava Coil to exile the Reaper, so I'm pretty likely gonna need to kill it with a Sweeper. Yeah, pretty happy that I went ahead and just swept the board there. With this coming down. For sideboarding notes, I generally board in the good cards and cut the bad ones. It's been one of my lifelong rules. Listen, for every person who's saying like we need to ban Nexus because it creates a negative gameplay experience, there's people that think Teferi creates a negative gameplay experience. There's people that think Mono Red creates a negative gameplay experience. Different people like different things. Just because you don't enjoy something doesn't mean somebody else doesn't enjoy it. Let people like things. Everything that beats me is a negative gameplay experience. That I feel like a lot of people think that basically. Did I lose? If yes, negative gameplay experience. I do think that there's merit to discussing the idea that best of 1 and best of 3 need different ban lists. Because I do think that while Nexus decks are fine and Reclamation decks are fine in best of 3, I would certainly believe they could be too good in best of 1. God, we get to double mass manipulation next turn. That sounds wonderful. Yeah, I believe this is the Yoink turn. They could have a Disdainful Stroke here or negate. Yeah, looks like we're getting counterspelled. Curse you, interaction! Why? Why must you interact with me, opponent?
That would break someone like you.
Yeah, counterspells are a negative gameplay experience. Please ban. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the turn here and upkeep Explosion this Vivian. If they have another counterspell, we're probably dead here. going on, Elmary? Can we just say ban all the lands? Lands let people cast spells that I hate. I hate when my opponents cast spells.
Balance comes.
Why do it at upkeep instead of your turn? That's actually a good question. So you should cast the instant explosion during their upkeep, because this way it uses up their blue mana for this turn. So this way, if I draw another card that they need to counterspell, they're short this blue mana potentially. Or like wouldn't be able to play a Hydroid Krasis without another one. So by using it during their upkeep, I use that 2 mana that they use on the counterspell during their next turn cycle, as opposed to letting them untap the following turn. Yikes, into that. All right, see? And again, like, while I think this matchup's very good for us, even these mid-range decks that have a tough time against decks like this have tools to have access to be competitive in matches like this. One of the reasons why this format is so good is because there's such a good balance of powerful things to ways to interact with those powerful things. That's a feature, it's not a bug. I'm gonna eat a snack here real quick before we're on the front page in 5 minutes. Thanks everyone for hanging out today.
Should leave before
This deck doesn't use the pay-2 life dual lands, which we refer to as shock lands, because it's playing cards such as Gates Ablaze and our Gate Ram Breaker, which cares specifically about having lands that have this gate subtype on them.
sacrifices must be made.
Do I just play out another Krasis this turn? I think I just Grixis for Exus 6 here. This does let them kill this with the Vraska, but if they kill this with the Vraska, they then no longer have the Vraska in play.
Its loss will serve us.
We got some ramp, chat. We got some ramp.
Being ruthless.
All right, so I've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana. So if I Gates Ablaze, unfortunately I can't kill Vraska with Explosion, which sucks. I think I need to Gates Ablaze. Oh, we can just double Explosion them for lethal, right? Yeah, that's a good catch, because this does 3 to them, right? And then this turn, I can Explosion them and then untap Explosion them again. Yeah, because I'm going to Explosion for 6 here and put them to 6, then untap and have way more than 6. Alright, well, GG. Nice ramp deck.
Beasts are much more reliable than humans. Come to me.
For people wondering why we can't just expansion the one big explosion, it's because expansion only copies spells that cost 4 or less. Boink. Oh, I should have done it last turn so I could play a free Gate Colossus. Is Ixalan's Binding the best answer to Krasis in Just Sky Control?
Is our game.
Yeah, it's probably one of them. I mean, you could also just, like, kill it and play through the card advantage that they have. I'm a giver, so I'm gonna go ahead and let them draw the cards while they die. Enjoy. Enjoy. That's also a good lesson. Like, I've heard people say, oh man, I had to draw the game because I had to deck myself with Expansion Explosion. It's like, well, you can make them draw the cards. The least you can do is give your opponent a present while you're killing them. Come on now. It's the actual least you can do. I don't know that I like the Star of Extinction in the sideboard. I'm not sure that it's necessary. What do I think about Nexus of Fate? It's probably fine. If you have Planeswalkers in your deck, it's probably reasonable. Is Mono Red the worst matchup for the Gates deck? I don't actually know if the Mono Red matchup's that bad. Because we have, while our lands do come into play tapped, Gates Ablaze is a turn 3 sweeper, and we have 4 lands in our deck that gain us 3 life each, which is like pretty good. I'm saying that's what I'm saying, Dows. You should never draw the game with Expansion Explosion, because if you're gonna deck yourself with the explosion part, you should target your opponent, make them draw cards. So the only way to draw the game with Explosion is either doing it on purpose or if you're really stupid. Like this should only be drawing the game if you don't realize you can target them. Alright, well, I'm kind of happy they didn't take the Growth Spiral there. I wonder if they have another Duress. We got in X's 5 Mass Manipulation, which was sweet. Just want to say I'm a big fan of YouTube and glad I finally caught a live one. Welcome to a live one, Mr. Marmite. Hope you're having a good Monday and had a good weekend. Thanks for dropping in today. Alright, we need to hit some lands here. If we hit a gate, we could maybe be okay here. We need to hit a gate this turn so we can get Guild Summit going for sure. Yikes. Alright, well, I guess I just play this out. Oh, I'm in my, wait, what? Why isn't it? Why is it asking me to pay for this manually? Weird. I have no idea, Roll. We've only played 3 or 4 matches with the deck. It seems good against Sultai, which is what we've been playing against. The Gates deck is really sweet. My Monday's going well. Little bit cold here, but Christy and the kids got to work and daycare safely, and I don't have to leave the house. That's all I can really ask for. Alright, it's a Plaza of Harmony. I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, I don't have 2 gates. What a tilt. Alright, well, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna cantrip this Krasis and trade it with a Jade Light. Really just looking to draw a couple of cards here. Hey, Shadows, thanks for the biddies. Hope you're having a good morning. Appreciate the support. Yeah, it's been a lot of black-green. You know, it's really funny, too. Like, if you look at... So, like, this weekend, we had the first major tournament with the Star City Games in... The Star City Games tournament. And the... Oh, that's sweet. Because Plaza, I was like, this is a tapped red source, it doesn't save us, but it doesn't, because I only have 2 gates. Rats! Our mana was a little awkward. Sorry, so Sultai was the deck that won the SCG tournament, but the most important thing to take away from the SCG tournament isn't just the deck that won, it's like looking at the decks as a whole, and Sultai as a whole had a pretty average weekend. The Sultai decks were only 25% of the day 2 format, and they were 25% of the top 32, which means they started and ended with the same distribution, which means they didn't overperform or underperform. They were just kind of average. I'm playing the Growth Spiral during my main phase primarily for 2 reasons. The first is that I often have additional mana available, and if I draw a sorcery speed card like a Guild Summit or a route that I would like to play, I would like to go ahead and play that right away. The second is that my opponents often are playing with counter spells, so I'd like for this card to resolve, so I'm playing it on my turn so my opponent doesn't have a chance to interact with it. What decks overperformed? Nothing really overperformed. Mono Red and Esper had small overperformances, but it was close enough to their starting distribution that, like, it's probably about average. And the big story or takeaway from looking at the data from this weekend is that Nexus of Fate fell on its face. Alright, well, this hand's been awkward. Maybe I should have mulliganed this. I don't know. I had 2 ramp spells and just needed a blue source. My big takeaway is that the Nexus decks did very poorly. So there were 7 Nexus decks that day 2'd the tournament, and none of them top 32'd the tournament, which is like pretty big deal. I mean, stupid, careless, like those, careless is probably a fair thing to say too. A lot of times when people make mistakes, it's because they're being careless rather than stupid. People who are fairly smart do stupid things all the time. I'm pretty sure Bant performed pretty average. We don't know why Nexus fell. And that's, again, like, you can't draw strong conclusions from this data. You can look at it from a high level and be like, these are things that are likely to be the case for these other things, but, like, we definitely can't know for certain that this is or isn't the reason something happened. Alright, so I'm probably just supposed to take both these Jade Light Rangers now, right? I think I just play my 8th land out here and, like, mass manipulation, take their 2 Jade Lights. I guess I take, yeah, I think I just do this, right? They don't have any blue mana up. I think they're just straight Golgari. Much like Magic players like to call for bans of cards that have never seen tournament play, Magic players like to try and draw incredibly strong conclusions from really small data sets, which I also think is very silly. Alright, so if I could Guild Summit draw 3 cards, and then play a Gate Colossus. If I try to take the Brontodon, they just sacrifice it and kill my Guild Summon in response. Alright, my opponent concluded that I had enough decisions that it didn't matter, and they decided to move along with their lives. Where do you pull a lot of your tournament data from? The small amounts of sources we get it from. So you can find tournament data from this past weekend Star City Games tournament at starcitygames.com. That's what I am referring to. What's data? Yeah, exactly. And because there's so little Magic data and people are so desperate to draw meaningful conclusions from it, they often draw bad conclusions from incomplete data. Which is frustrating to look at from the outside, but it's what happens a lot. So slow. Oh no! Oh no! Are we playing the Gates Mirror? I think we might be playing the Gates Mirror. Yikes! Is this the future? Have we arrived at the future, chat? Are we all just gonna play Gates Mirrors all day? Oh no! That's a Gate Colossus. That's terrifying. Yikes! That's a big boy. Alright, that's an untapped land. Do I just, like, take their Gate Colossus here? I think I'm supposed to take their Gate Colossus here. Yoink! I would like to borrow that one, please. Alright, so I'm gonna root and I'm gonna expansion my root here. Let's get ahead, shall we? We can manipulate this game a little bit. Actually, Gates Ablaze just like... Are we about to get double Lava Coiled? Brutal. Hey, 1605. Thank you very much for doling out those sub gifties. I appreciate that generosity. Hope you're having a good Monday. Had a good weekend. Yoink. All right. Your move. This is all I got. So I only have 7 gates in play right now, right? 5, 6, 7. So if I play this, it just kills both Krasis. Thunk. Thunk. I mean, that was better than... I mean, that was kind of like win. Yeah! Obviously we can declare ourselves the Gates Master. Master! Master! Is this the Star of Extinction matchup, chat? Is this the matchup we want this for? It feels like I just want ramp and beatdowns, right? Maybe I don't want the extra Archway Angels. Star of Extinction does destroy gates. We're gatekeeping our opponent. That's certainly true. I don't think Canopy for Krasis is good. I guess this kills Guild Summit too. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna bring this in because it kills Krasis and Guild Summit. Yeah, let's do that. Crushing Canopy just like such a good card in general right now. I lost super hard when turn 2 Electro Dominance, turn 3, turn 4 Land Destruction. If I only own one Krasis and not interested in getting 3 more, do you know of any replacements? I'd recommend looking up other iterations of the Krasis deck, of the Gates deck, and there's been builds that people have posted without Krasis in it as well. Yeah, Krasis is flying and trample, which is great. Hello to our viewer boost from people. I haven't addressed the people. We're hanging out on the front page of Twitch this morning. If you're just cruising what might be on Twitch and you dropped in here, welcome. My name is Jeff Hoagland. We're currently playing the game called Magic the Gathering. This is their new beta client called Arena. It is free to download and play, so if you enjoy strategy card games, be sure to check it out. Magic's kind of the OG of strategy card games. We are playing Magic's standard constructed formats. This is a format where you build your own 75 card deck and then play best of 3 games. So, do I play the Guild Summit this turn? And like expose myself to negate and canopy? I think I do actually. I think I just jam here because if they have a negate here to interrupt my Guild Summit, then they're less likely to have a negate to counter this. And if they don't have a way to interact with this, the root next turn is just going to be obscene with it. Sure. Yeah, sweet. So, like, next turn, this draws a card whenever one of our special gate lands come into play. So I'm going to play Breeding Pool, and then I'm going to play the root, which is going to let us draw 2 cards. Thoughts on WotC dropping GP coverage? I mean, text coverage was kind of boring anyways. I think a lot of people think that GP coverage is more impactful than it actually is. And if it was actually that impactful, they would have been doing video coverage from it to begin with. What's going on, Yachidi? Thanks for the biddies. So our hand's not drawing a whole lot of action just yet, but remember, every gate we draw draws us more cards with Guild Summit. So we're going to be able to kind of snowball and spiral here nicely. Let's start with this. Again, playing this instant on my turn. So that way, in case I draw sorcery speed cards, I can play them out this turn. So I'm aware that I could play that on my opponent's turn, but you don't have to play your instants on your opponent's turn just because they're instants. I'm gonna discard one of these gates. Probably don't need 3 of them. So we're going to take a hit here, but like, I've got Krasis, I've got Manipulation. There is a chance my opponent has a copy of Negate here, though. So now they've just exposed themselves to mass manipulation, right? So I'm just like, gonna go ahead and like, yoink both their things here. I would like your toys, please. All your base are belong to me. Is there any official Magic coverage now? I have no idea. Opponent took their ball, and they're going home. What's my next Paper Magic event? I'm definitely playing the Nerd Rage Gaming Championship event in Bloomington in March. I might play the Nerd Rage Gaming event in Milwaukee or Wisconsin, wherever it is, Madison, in February, but that's going to be weather permitting. I don't drive 3 hours in the snow anymore. Yeah, mass manipulation seemed pretty important in there. What about Knight of Autumn instead of Plummet in the sideboard? Deals with enchantment, but it's good against aggro. I don't know that this deck has problems with aggro. Between Gates Ablaze and your lands gaining you health and the 4 Gate Angels, I feel like you probably dunk on aggro. I like that Crushing Canopy kills things like Niv-Mizzet, which is a card that you need to kill. Hey, Pentokan, thank you very much for the tier 1 sub there. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Am I going to go to SCG Louisville in May? Is that a standard open? If it's not a standard open, I'm not going. I'm south of Chicago, so it's not going to get quite as cold where I live as it's going to get in Chicago this weekend, but it is probably going to be pretty cold. Am I always standing? No, I have a desk with motors in the legs, so I split my time sitting and standing. Looks like another Gates Mirror. We're probably going to pivot off of this deck after this. We've been playing it for a little bit, and I expect to see a lot of this deck today. This deck's very unique and pretty powerful, so I expect other people to want to dig into it. So I have a choice here. I can either play my own guild, I could play my guild summon out, or I could just play a tapped land and then plan to expansion their ramp spell, which I think is what I want to do here. I think I want to play Breeding Pool out and then go ahead and expansion their route if they have one. Morning, Mr. DeCandio. Hope things are going well for you. Is a Modern open? No, I won't be driving for a Modern open. Spending 2 days playing Modern sounds about as much fun as closing my hand in the car door. Very, very little desire to do that. Can you please explain the single breeding pool in this deck? I assume the person who built it just wanted more blue and green lands. So I didn't build this deck. This is a deck list that top 32'd the SCG Open this weekend. So we're just playing card for card what somebody else submitted, what somebody else played. We are playing another Burgle. Come on now, you know Magic players. This is exactly the style of deck Magic players desperately want to be good. So like, if this deck's even close to good, people are going to be all over it. So I could double Lava Coil this by going Lava Coil plus expansion to copy my own spell. But I think I'd rather just play the Root this turn and draw a bunch of cards. Their deck likely doesn't have counter spells in the main deck like mine, so I'd like to just kind of find mass manipulation here. I did miss your segue, Nivik. Oh, I could copy Root. So I don't know if I necessarily want to copy Root, because I might use this to shoot something at some point, but maybe it's right to do that. Hey, Colin, thanks for the tip. Put this at Electro Dominance Living End. Will do. Thanks for the support. Yeah, I think you're right that I should have done that. So now, because I didn't do that, I think I need to, and I missed on the other thing, I think I'm going to go ahead and Lava Coil, expansion Lava Coil here, and then play my own Gate Colossus. So the problem with playing the Krasis out is that if my opponent has a mass manipulation, I lose on the spot, and I'd rather not lose on the spot to mass manipulation. I think being a little bit conservative and playing around that is good. Like they go Plaza, Island, Mass Manipulation, I just die. Morning, Dauber. Well, I hope you feel better. Oh, is this Gates Ablaze into Lava Coil? Okay. I'm gonna knock us down to 4 here. Yeah, you auto maintain priority when you have expansion in hand. That is correct. So I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I do this for X is 8. So I only have 10 mana, right? This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I do this for X is 8 and they have a way to kill it, I just die. So I think I'm just supposed to Gate Colossus here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and Krasis draw 2 at this point. Just like have an extra blocker out, basically. Just in case they have a way to take this away. Although I guess mass manipulation still beats me, right? Yeah, we're up on the front page of Twitch right now. Drew. Top Dog, thank you for the 8-month resub. And there's a lot of great people you can send that Prime to every month. Thanks for shipping it my way. So the fact that I have Guild Summit and they don't gives us a pretty big leg up here in the Colossus's trading aspect. So let's do this. I'm only going to tap like 2 lands here, I think, because I want to be able to cast some spells afterwards too. Hey, Sheriff Wiggles, welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good morning wherever you're at. Thanks for the support there. So now I get to do... Oh, I stacked my triggers wrong. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yikes. So, you saw the box came up that I just clicked through too quickly. Although I guess I get to do... Oh, never mind. I have a growth spiral. So, ideally, I should stack it so I put this on top and then draw a card. But I had growth spirals for, like, no harm, no foul. I'm like, we're pretty far behind at this point, so there's not a real reason to get aggressive here. And, like, we have the card advantage going and our opponent doesn't, so there's no reason to get aggressive and, like, lose by mistake when we're definitely going to bury them in the long run here. Like, this might even be a concession mass manipulation. Yoink. That card definitely seems like the Mirror Breaker. Guild Summit seems powerful, but, like, the mass manipulation has been good every time we've hit it. Like, there aren't a lot of removal spells in these decks, so, like, having that effect seems super potent. I just like doing that, so I trimmed. So, for those new to Magic, the competitive Magic is generally played in best of 3. So after you play the first game, you have a sideboard or side deck that's 15 cards, and you get to reconstruct your deck in between games 1 and 2, and 2 and 3 again if you go to a third game. So you can take out cards that might be awkward in a specific matchup to make your deck better in that matchup. So for instance here, I'm taking out this card Gates Ablaze, which kills lots of small creatures in play, to bring in effects like counter spells that are going to be more impactful against my opponent's more controlling deck. Oh yeah, I have a 4th Gate Colossus over here. Let's definitely do that. Also cutting like this spot removal spell against my opponent's deck that doesn't have a lot of creatures to kill and stuff like that. I don't know if Cindervines is good enough. I think I'd rather just have Crushing Canopy. I think I'd rather have Canopy because it kills Krasis. Like I don't have Angel in my deck, and I think I want Expansion Explosion. Yeah. And like this card has a text box here, but like remember sideboarding's 1-1, and I don't think the text box on this card is better than any of the other cards that I'm already playing. And that's one of the toughest things about sideboarding is that it's not just this, you bring in all the cards that are good. Sideboarding is like a deck construction puzzle, right? Like you have a 75 card pool and you're trying to find your 15 worst cards to board out. So we'll be on the draw this game since we won game 1. Seems very good. I think it's worth it to run 4 of the Gates Dude's main deck. I have no idea. I think it depends on what you want to hedge. I think if you want to be good against control and other Gates decks, playing 4 Gatebreaker Ram in the main and Gate Colossus main makes a lot of sense. But I think if you want to have a smidgen of respect for the more aggressive decks that exist in the format, main decking some Angels is a fine hedge. You technically can board up past 60 cards, but statistically speaking, it's incorrect to do so basically all of the time. So the thing about the aggressive decks in the format, Burgle, is that a lot of the aggressive decks tend to be burn-based decks. So having the Angel be able to get you out of reach is very valuable in those matchups. Is there a viable best of 1 version of this deck? I have no idea. I don't play best of 1. I find playing Magic as a best of 1 incredibly frustrating, because there's a lot of variance in Magic, and that variance gets much worse when you play it as best of 1 game. Civil Mass with the brand new Prime support. Good morning and welcome. There's a lot of great people you can ship that to every month on Twitch. Thanks for supporting my content this month with it. So they changed sideboarding from being 1-to-1 a couple of years ago at this point. Once upon a time, that was true that it had to be 1-to-1, but that's no longer the case. So I'm going to lead on the Guild Summit here, because there's a chance that they counterspell this if they have, like, a negate. If they counterspell this, then Mass Manipulation's more likely to resolve down the line. Although, I guess I don't actually have my 4th blue yet, which is kind of a big deal. My Battering Rams are 1 off of being able to attack here. First person to find and stick a real piece of card advantage, like a Mass Manipulation or a Guild Summit, probably going to run away with this game. What's a bad match for the Gates deck? I have no idea. This is my first time playing it. So for those that are new to the stream, a lot of the decks that we play here are viewer-submitted deck lists, or decks that people find in tournaments, or archetypes that they ask me to build. So a lot of what we do here is exploration. I have a lot of experience playing Magic, but I'm by no means an expert with a specific deck. It's just impossible to be an expert with decks when you play so many. We usually change decks every hour and a half or so on stream, so we get a lot of variety here. All right, so I can't cast Mass Manipulation because I need another blue source. Do I want to attack here? Probably not. I don't really want to trade my Gatebreaker Rams for their Gate Colossuses. This deck's been really sweet. It feels genuinely powerful. Is there a day where I play my stuff, or do you instead we do viewer submitted decks basically every day? There's people that donate to ask me to play my preferred iterations of decks. So like if you look through the deck queue, there's a number of links in the deck queue to like decks that are on my website. Those are my builds of decks. But pretty much everything we do here is viewer focused. It feels, in my opinion, it only makes sense that the people who pay my bills kind of dictate what we do. They're basically my bosses. All right, well this is a little bit late. Hopefully they don't have, if they don't have a negate in hand here, this mass manipulation is going to get to take 2 of their things next turn. If they have a manipulation of their own, we are just going to die here. And again, didn't play this card because it requires 4 blue sources specifically. I only had 1, 2, 3 untapped blue. This Izzet Guildgate came into play tapped. Yikes, yep. Yeah, so far, Mass Manipulation definitely feels like the most important card in the mirror. This deck seems really good. I definitely think my initial assessment that the payoffs weren't good enough here is wrong. Both Guild Summit and Gates Ablaze are like fantastically powerful cards. Flash with the 2-month resub. Thank you very much and welcome. I appreciate you shipping your Bezo bucks this way again this month. Hey, the Palm Top. Thank you very much for the brand new Prime Support. Welcome, welcome. Ah, the breeding pool sound. Alright, one of these days, we're going to keep 2 lands on the play in our 27 land deck and not miss on 3. If we just hit 2 more lands, this Route's going to power us out. If we get a blue source here on 2, we'll be in an absurd spot. I feel like the upside of this hand... The upside of what this hand's going to do if we hit is high enough that it's worth risking a keep. Alright, so probably dead. It's just how Magic the Gathering goes sometimes. Sometimes you have 2 draws to hit half your deck and you miss. Yeah, this is a real good start after we stumbled. It's a lot of aggression. I guess the root might be able to help us get there. Oh, I guess I have 4 gates. Do I want to put these things on top? I guess I just throw this up top, huh? Oh yeah, only one. It triggered twice. Same one triggered twice. I don't know if I want to play another Mirror Nivik. We've played 2 mirrors in a row, which has been a little tedious. We're just dead, right? Okay, let's try one more. If we queue into another mirror, I'm gonna move on to the next deck. I would like to get to play against like red aggro or white splash something aggro. The Azorius aggro deck, the mono white splashing negates and spell pierce in the sideboard, probably just devours this deck. If I had to venture a guess. Might turn my space heater on. It's kind of cold here in the Midwest. Put that on low. It's a wee bit cold. Yikes. We're really bad at having lands in our 27 land deck, huh? Seems pretty good. Needs to draw like wants to draw like Growth Spiral into a bunch of lands, but like it's got gates into Gates Ablaze into Gate Colossus. What's your temperature like? We're actually a little bit above freezing in Illinois right now. We're supposed to be getting down to like negative 40-degree wind chills later this week though. All right, it's a good setup here. If we hit a 4th land to do this on time, we'll probably be in a very good spot. And sweet, we're playing against something that's not a mirror. A gift from Lake Michigan, it's something. Even if we miss on the land for a root next turn, we can go ahead and Gates Ablaze to deal 3 damage to everything to clean the board up. Hopefully they play a Seraph here. Which has been my favorite deck out of the new set so far. I really like the blue-green climb decks. Really been liking the blue-green climb decks. Woo. Yep. Looks like they're probably playing Blackway Angels. It's good. More companies should have snow days when the weather's dangerous. Too many places expect people to show up to work when the conditions just really aren't safe. So if I play Root here, this is going to kick me up to 6 lands, which means I just get to play like 2 8/8s next turn for 4 mana, which is quite absurd. Exactly. Actually, doesn't that speak volumes to how sweet this format is? Like we have all shocks and check lands, and like get to like we're choosing to play all these gates instead. All right, so I can only X's 1 on this currently. So let's start with a Growth Spiral here. See where we end up at. Plaza's pretty sweet. So let's go ahead and like play 2 8/8s here for 2 mana. And then next turn we can manipulate the Lyra plus something else. Hopefully they draw another Angel. We have 8 mana exactly, so we can manipulate 2 things. This grabs them from them. One of our payoffs for ramping up as high as we are in this deck. I got into Magic a few months ago, but I don't know what color deck I want to build. Is there a place that explains the playstyles at different colors? So there are some loose restrictions on like what different cards do based on the colors, but in reality there's just a lot of variety in what the different colors do, and a lot of the decks in Magic aren't monocolored, so you're drawing good and bad things from all different sorts of colors. When I lived in NYC, my boss had me come into work in a blizzard because the subways were still running. That's miserable. Alright, I would like to borrow these, please. Yeah, we're gonna, after we hit -40 with wind chills, like 2 or 3 days later, it's gonna be like back in the 40s and 50s and like raining and sleeting. Alright, so Crushing Canopy seems great here because it destroys creatures with flying. Archway Angel actually blocks okay. Feel like Expansion Explosion's probably not stellar in this matchup. How do you play around mass manipulation? Counter spells or kill them faster? Yeah, this card's very, very good. This is a sweet payoff for a ramp deck to have access to. What do I not want here? I guess Gatebreaker Ram probably. Maybe I don't want these Archway Angels actually. Maybe I just don't want the extras. Just like leave this split here. Play worse creatures. Yeah, play lots of individually weak creatures and then swarm. Go wide, don't go tall. Is probably decent advice. I don't think you should cut Hydroid Krasis. Hydroid Krasis is an individually powerful card that's good on its own, whereas mass manipulation depends on like what your opponent's doing to be good. If you wanted to budget it and you're trying to justify making budget cuts to yourself, it's probably a fine budget choice, but I think playing optimally, playing less than 4 Krasis in this deck is very silly. I don't think the Star of Extinction in this sideboard is likely very good. I think it's probably a card that's worth cutting. This is card for card, a deck list from the SCG Open this weekend. And, like, we were playing against green black, and I feel like I really didn't want Star there, and if I don't want Star against green black, it's probably just silly to have. And that's one of the most important things to know about Magic, right? Like, Magic formats ebb and change as new cards are added and things leave and stuff like that. So, like, Standard being great now, it might not be great next rotation. Hopefully it's going to stay great, but we don't know. And like Modern changes as it evolves, right? Like the longer Modern's existed, the more linear it's gotten. For people who aren't familiar with Magic, when I say a deck is linear, linear refers to a deck that's not interested in interacting with its opponent and just wants to ignore them, basically. Where can you find deck lists for SCG? Probably on SCG's website, starcitygames.com. Yeah, we're on the front page of Twitch this morning, Hembly. So we were actually up to about 2,000 before we got the boost. But we appreciate everybody dropping in from the front page. I think I just Gates Ablaze here, so his Tribunali is going to pop off next turn and, like, make these bigger. So rather than, like, take a hit, especially if they have a removal spell for my Gate Colossus, with the second Gates Ablaze in hand, I'm just going to be conservative and keep their board clear. What is Modern? So this current format that we're playing is called Standard Constructed. It is a format that always has between 5 and 8 legal sets. When a 9th Magic set gets printed, the oldest 4 sets rotate out. Modern is what we refer to as a non-rotating format. It has a starting position, and then it only gets bigger as more cards in Magic are printed. Thanks for dropping in, Andrew. So if I play the Root here and then play another land out, we get to go ahead and play this Gate Colossus for 1 mana, which is kind of silly. How long are we in the front page? We're up on the front page till about noon this morning. Another hour and a half or so. So at this point, I'm looking for one of our card advantage or payoff cards to drop. So I have this, maybe this Gate Colossus is just going to go the distance, but in general at this point, I'm looking for a way to start generating card advantage. I'm going to go ahead and attack with the Colossus before I play this, because they play like a cast down. This Gate can put it back on top of my deck. Whoop. And then Archway Angel is just gonna like come into play and gain us 12. Sorry, more than 12, 16. So I want to get rid of the Lyra there because Lyra has lifelink to give them extra life every time she attacks. And because they have Argyl's Bloodfast in play, I don't want them to gain a bunch of life because Argyl's Bloodfast lets them turn excess life into drawing extra cards. So at this point, I think we're a little bit behind, even though we have this 8/8 in play, because my opponent has so many extra cards in their hand and this Bloodfast in play. If, for some reason, they don't have a way to kill this, though, we could just run them out of the game, which would be sweet for us. Alright, and just like that, I think we pull out super far ahead here. So this Guild Summit's going to come into play and draw us 5 cards. Because when it comes out, I can tap any number of gates and draw that many cards. And there's just so many impactful cards in this deck that do what you just saw there, which is like come into play and gas us right back up. Between the 4 Guild Summits and the 4 Krasis, it's really hard for any mid-range deck or even control deck to keep up with what this deck is doing in terms of volume of cards. I don't know. I haven't played those decks, dude. It's hard to know if they just like hit good matchups or ran good or if they're genuinely good. It's tough to know without actually playing them firsthand. Yeah, this deck was super impressive. I feel like it's pretty safe to say that my thoughts on this deck not being good enough based on the payoffs was incorrect. I think Guild Summit, as well as, honestly, Plaza of Harmony is just, like, subtly one of the all-stars of this deck. So the big drawback to playing all these gates in your deck is that the gates always come into play tapped, which basically means you play a turn behind. So Plaza of Harmony is this great way not only to fix your mana and make you cast your spells more consistently, but it also helps you catch back up from the tempo that you lose from your lands coming into play tapped early. Mass Manipulation was very, very good in all of the mid-range matches that we played. It especially seemed important in the mirror. Whoever had this card first in the mirror kind of dominated. So if the mirror is a match that you're worried about, which you honestly might be at this point if people are going to start playing this deck, I think the only change I would make before playing more games is I would replace the Star of Extinction with a 3rd Mass Manipulation in the sideboard for the mirror.